Hey everybody. So I'm actually walking to Tiergarten right now, which is that ambulance, which is Berlin's Central Park. It's a gorgeous day today, and there is always something to look at in this park. Now, Tiergarten is 200 plus years old, and it's got a really great gay history and a lot of dick sucking. So I thought, since I've been thinking and talking a lot about sex this weekend, I would be a pretty good situation to take a peek into. Now, the first thing you notice when you walk in these is the daddies who are pretending to read a book on a bench, like this one over here. Just standing around like a Tom of Finland situation. And then there's like actual daddies with like children on strollers. Now, the most hilarious part to me is that you see all that, and then you think the gay stuff is really hush-hush, and then it opens up into this huge meadow with, let's see, it looks like 36 naked Germans just sunning themselves at 4:00 on a Monday. And nobody's batting an eyelash. There's actually a birthday party across the meadow for a kid. Wow. So since the last time I did one of these, I was kind of like really worked up, and that was kind of intense, and I was emotional. I thought I'd get some fresh air. And I'm already thinking that was the right thing to do. That guy is tanned. And another tidbit is that during the summer, the sun doesn't fully set in Berlin. So cruising in a dark park here is like constantly cruising during a full moon. And most of them are open 24 hours a day. So it's such a huge part of the culture here, and such a huge part of the fabric of the city. So it makes a lot of sense to sit down here in this tree and talk about what happened this weekend since our last communique. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Oof. Oh, girl. I had a lot of really interesting conversations this weekend. It's funny because the last 2 weekends, Monkeypox has been very hush-hush. And I'm sure y'all have noticed that online as well. And this weekend is when we all started to really talk about it. And I got to have really great conversations and eavesdrop on really great conversations. Not exactly fun ones, but really interesting nonetheless. So a lot of what's going on this weekend is folks looking back at their behavior from 3 weeks ago, trying to figure out what they were doing and where they were. And because the incubation period of this thing is 2 to 3 weeks, that question becomes really important right now. Now, I am not exempt. I was at a lot of those same spaces too. So I've had my own, I was there twice. But that is where we're at right now. So, for example, I have a friend who used to live here in Berlin and was coming here to take all the loads, and sent me a message that said, my summer of cum is ruined. And it was really tragic because I wanted to be like, girl, your summer of cum isn't ruined, but let's be honest. They sucked a couple of dicks at the park a week ago, and they were having a really tough weekend. My other friend has been in an open relationship and realized this weekend that it was time to have that uncomfortable conversation with the boyfriend to ask, what are your lovers doing? Which is one of the biggest lessons of AIDS, and one of the biggest lessons of the HIV harm reduction was to remember that everybody you have sex with, you're having sex with everybody that they're having sex with. Now, one of the really most crucial parts of this is contact tracing. And part of the problem that we're having is that a lot of folks can't give you other people's information, which is what's allowing this to spread as steadily as it has. Most people have mild symptoms, which is a good thing. Once again, I want to stress that there have been no fatalities. But the people who have not had mild symptoms, those are the people that are scaring the shit out of all of us. The ones that have pustules inside their ass are having a miserable fucking time. They can't walk for a couple of days. A couple of them haven't been able to take a shit for a week without excruciating pain. That is part of one of the issues with this, is that it looks like a lot of other STDs. So, something to keep in mind for all my beautiful bottoms out there. I talked to the bartender at one of the really cutie boy bars, and I had to be that bitch that was like, hey, talk to me about monkeypox in the middle of your shift. And they were very matter of fact and very sweet about it, actually. And they told me that they know 5 people dealing with it. Most of the cases were mild. Somebody else wrote me online and told me that they knew 8 people dealing with it. Now, the reason that we believe the cases are being underreported isn't just because some of these cases are mild. A lot of people don't want to deal with the health department here. You have to report a monkeypox case to the health department when you get tested. So there's folks that are right now in their house, writing it out, waiting for it to clear out. Very important for you American folks, especially going into really heavy party weekends. Some of the funniest stories that we've been telling each other is the I thought this was monkeypox moments. Like my friend's headphones left a bunch of marks on his neck, and his boyfriend was like, what's that on your neck? And they ran home to check themselves out and to Google all the images and stuff, and it turned out it was just the plastic from the headphones. So those stories are really funny. It's nice to sit in a bar and have a whiskey and have a really good laugh. So a lot of us are sort of in this stage right now where we're dropping our shoulders a little bit, especially if we changed our sexual behaviors the last week and we sort of, have a little less to worry about. Right now, there's a lot of commiseration around it and a lot of talk about how painful these blue balls are. The men in Berlin are ridiculously hot. The Germans and the Turkish men, it's just... like literally my mouth is watering talking about it, but it's also really painful. And I'm looking at half of them right now, and some of them are naked. So pray for me. Just kidding, I'm doing okay. I'm a man of a certain age, but I'm feeling for my younger siblings right now whose hormones are a lot higher than mine are and who are trying to keep themselves safe. So I talked to a tourist from New York on Saturday, gorgeous boy. And he was crestfallen because he showed up here to do all the things that you do when you're 26 and arriving in Berlin. And he was very smart and checked all the numbers and did all the math and was like, you know what? Maybe not this time. And, it sucked because we were both like, wow, you're really hot. But we're talking about monkeypox. That's not sexy. So here's a Jaeger shot. Bye. Have a safe trip home. Now, today is the anniversary of the infamous rare cancer found in 41 homosexuals. Headline in the New York Times. There's a lot of comments and there's a lot of DMs in my account of people calling this AIDS 2.0. And it's really important that we do not lean into hyperbole. Yes, this is a huge issue, and it could become an even bigger issue, but there are no fatalities. What is an important lesson to take from that time is that a lot of our ancestors did actually die. So the question for you today is, how can you modify your behavior this summer so that you feel good about the choices that you're making in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, if this takes a turn for the worst? And how are you talking about these behaviors with your chosen family? What we know about these moments is that the fear of disease causes each of us to act in wildly different ways. Some people run away from disease as fast as they can, shut themselves down completely. Some people run right toward it and want to quote unquote get it over with. And some people just freeze. The only way we can balance one another out is by discussing how we're feeling in these moments and using one another as a litmus test and a gauge and a support system. So ask yourself not only what your harm reduction is, but whether or not you know what your chosen family's harm reduction is. Ooh, girl, that is enough monkeypox talk for one day for me. I'm gonna take a little stroll over here and peek into these daddies. I'm telling you, the men here, y'all, if you've never vacationed in Berlin in the summer, I would highly, highly advise it. Hello.
Bardziej patrzę, nie? Bo ten pies to tak go widać, a kot to się schowa i kogo.